All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope you guys are having a great morning. Hope you had an excellent day yesterday to start off this beautiful week. So let's get to it. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today? Oh, I cannot hear Norm.
Hey, sorry about that. Good morning, Carlos. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. Excellent, good, good. All right, guys. So let's get to it. We have quite a bit of a list here. So we're gonna go through our top lists and highlights from yesterday pretty fast over here. Through Nvidia and AMD and some of these other ones, and then we'll get to our gappers list because we got quite a bit this morning. A lot of the stuff we seen here before, BYND, KSS goes back on here, CGC, HD we haven't seen here in a bit. IQ is back on this list one more time, so we'll see how that traded also yesterday. We didn't keep this in our main list, but it was also one of the ones that was in our gappers list, so we'll take a look at how that traded yesterday. Let's look at yesterday's highlights. So let's look at Nvidia again. Nvidia continues to have these amazing days. I mean, you had this consolidation down here. You had indecision day after a gap up. Had a beautiful day yesterday. Probably one of the cleanest stock that traded yesterday in the morning. In the morning, there was a lot of chop. There was a lot of indecision going on in a lot of these stocks we were watching. But if you look at Nvidia, yesterday was just so amazing and clean. I'm just gonna zoom in here on the 5 and give you that picture if you missed it. So right off the top, guys, it's just a beautiful opening range breakup. You can see here with a not a great pullback, but you got here's the pullback hesitation that the signal to get in for a 5-minute opening range breakup, and then this does this beautiful pops, comes back just a bit, not hitting your entry, so you're good to go here. And then you get this beautiful pop over here over to a 168.50ish or so. Then you get this consolidation that happens here, right? You're kind of getting an ABCD pattern type situation forming here. It holds the moving average, and then it gives you another break of the high of the day, and then just kind of rises 9 moving average for a little higher before you get a pullback here. So we always talk about this. Once these stocks go on a potential trend trade, they tend to hold the 9, and they'll break the 9 and test the 20. The 20 is a good confirmation. If it loses the 20, that's when you really know this thing is probably going to. It's a higher chance it's going to go back and test the VWAP or so. But again, tests the 20 here again, heads up, tests it one more time and continues to head higher. So again, just overall Nvidia trading very well, and even today it looks like it just wants to head higher. As we broke through this previous resistance area, and we have some levels here that we can possibly hit. Here's AMD. AMD again was one that was very choppy right off the open. You had this drop, which happened on a lot of stocks right before the bell. Then here just a very nasty indecision, not indecision, but more of a chop, just up and down above the VWAP, not really deciding what it wanted to do. A nasty opening candle for the 5-minute, so this is not really a great candle for open range breakdown or up. And then you can see here you get this drop out of nowhere, comes back to VWAP, then another nice drop, but again, just not really clean in taking these trades around here. Then you get this V reversal back to VWAP, which is very nice. And then over here, just again tapping around the VWAP one more time. Again, just not clean at all on AMD. And you can see here it popped up a little bit, gapping down today, 0.5%. But overall, not great at the open. MU here, guys, also one that was very choppy, but this drop was a lot cleaner than AMD was, right? So you have this beautiful pop here. This could have been a possible fake out on the pullback for open range breakup. It doesn't actually head up in anywhere. You would have gotten stopped out below the VWAP, but then it cannot sustain above the VWAP, right? Different from AMD. See, AMD was just chopping around here up and down. This one cannot sustain above the VWAP, and it comes a beautiful short once it starts loosening the VWAP towards the way down, hits the low of the day, and then even heads lower. So that became a beautiful drop. Then again, another nice V reversal. For the V reversal is a very hard strategy to trade, so you want to be very careful. You want to wait for confirmation. This one here on the next 5 minutes doesn't really give you a chance to get in. It just pops up immediately. There's no pullback that I like to see around this area, confirming that we might be changing the trend and heading towards the VWAP. PCG, guys, this one was another one that again, it was just very weird. It got a nice squeeze right at the open all the way up to 1660. Again, so it had a nice beautiful squeeze. I know Robert was watching this, he called it out in the chat room as well. Squeezed nicely, then from there just kind of lost momentum, didn't really want to go anywhere, and just comes back and hangs around the low of the day. Now I was watching this price action very closely, guys. It was not as clean here, especially here. It was very choppy. So again, just no real direction on what it actually wanted to do. Eventually goes test the VWAP, and then just kind of toys around with these two moving averages, the 5 and the 20, but not really anything clean besides this one move here. If you could have scalped this on a 2-minute opening range breakup, this would have been amazing. But then from there, it just kind of becomes a pretty crappy to trade. Here we have Apple, guys. Apple had that initial pop, but not as clean as Nvidia. So Nvidia had this pop, and then it caught the moving average on the 9. It just kept going up higher and higher. That was very clean. This was a great opening range breakup on the 5. Here's your range. You did have this wick when it opened up, came down here, tested this moving average, then shoots back up. But then over here, it doesn't give you a pullback on the way up. So you just had to jump in, find a good entry after 1 minute. You can see here, test is higher. Then it hits 212.75, right? That was the high of yesterday. And then from there, it just kind of loses momentum, right? It looks like it's going to get a pullback and hopefully give you like an ABCD pattern and head higher. It doesn't, just goes right back down to VWAP, loses it. Then here it just becomes pretty nasty in this area to trade. Again, just nothing clean for the next hour or two on Apple after this beautiful open here. And Baba was one that had a very clean pre-market activity. This one has been on a nice little tear the last couple of days. You can see here just heading higher and higher. Not as clean daily chart in here, but again, you have several days like this one here, this one, and this one, where the intraday activity has been very nice. So at the open, you got some choppiness, but then it loses the VWAP very clean, guys. I mean, you have this opening up here, heads down, heads back up, cannot sustain these levels above VWAP, as you can see, and we see this quite a bit. Just wait 15 or so minutes, and you see this beautiful drop hitting the low of the day, and then heading lower. Then eventually you around this time, 10 o'clock, 10:30, you do have somewhat of a double bottom. Not as clean as I would like to see. Obviously, you want to see it more like this, like a W. But this is clearly just done selling off, and it gives you a beautiful reversal back up to VWAP. If you was able to get into one of these areas around here and set your stop loss at 175.79 or the low of the day, depending on how your entry was and how you're managing your risk. EL was one that Norm had called out. Also very choppy at the open, guys. This was, but again, a lot of stocks were doing the same thing too. It's just very choppiness at the open here. So again, just chopping around. Eventually, after an hour or two, it settles in nicely, catches this 9 EMA, and then you can see here it just heads higher and higher, and actually puts in a really good day after this first 2 hours or so. So that was what we had yesterday on our watch, guys. Let's go over to some news. And what do we have going on today, Norm? Anything exciting that we should be aware about, or anything that we should be on the lookout for?
Nothing exciting like yesterday, Carlos. So the SPY is up just about 0.1% this morning. No real major news. We're kind of at the back end of earnings season. Mostly what's reporting now are either smaller companies or retailers. I say mostly because there are outliers. Don't send me hate mail. If you do, it's carlos@verbal-traders.com. But that having been said, today in economic news, it's actually well after the market closes, but one of the Fed board Fed members speaks tonight. Randall Quarles speaks 6 p.m. this evening at an event. That's really all the economic news going on. So kind of a dearth of news at least today.
All right. So let's get into it, guys. So here we have our nice gappers list. Let's start with the top. Let's make some room here and start with HGV this morning. So HGV up here. Nice volume, 462,000 shares traded. But just looking at the chart here, this is a very nasty pre-market action. Looks like we got some block trades in here. That's the only thing that can cause this type of volume with this horrible pre-market activity. Norm, is there anything else outside of the normal stuff going on with HGV? Because this thing looks just nasty right now.
Yeah, so Apollo, which is a PE firm, is looking to possibly buy this up, and the word is up to $36 a share. So while it's a potential buyout, it might be tradable to some degree. I'm not sure what. It's not the most exciting pre-market chart I've ever seen. Despite a good amount of volume, it's just kind of unimpressive really right now, but we'll see what happens to it.
Yeah, we'll keep it on here, see how it develops. It does have some okay daily chart, not the greatest. Again, you have some big moves here that happened over the last couple of weeks. After that drop, I got some nice ranges. Usually doesn't have big ranges based on these candles here. But again, this pre-market activity just not looking great at all. So we'll tune in back to that, see how that does. Baidu was I wasn't watching Baidu yesterday, but I think yesterday had a pretty clean day. And today, look at this, gapping up another 10%. So it gapped up yesterday. You can see here had a beautiful open, and also actually like it kept most of it throughout the entire day, hitting this level of prior resistance. And then today we're gapping up quite a bit again. So again, pre-market activity is looking great because Baidu doesn't tend to have a great pre-market activity like an AMD or MU. So this right here looks good. We got some volume, 248,000 shares traded. And I do like how we're heading up here. We got some areas of support that right over here. I'm just going to mark this because it's so clean the way this is setting up. Right, very close to the low of the pre-market, right? You can see how this daily just continues to bounce off this level here around 112. 111 or so. So really like the way that's setting up on the daily. We got a nice pop here, some good volume. Definitely one to watch this morning. Next we have Beyond the Meat.
Beyond the Meat.
There you go. This one up 7.5, 202,000 shares traded. So it looks like, just gonna remove these levels. It looks like we're having some support being found here finally, right? So this thing dropped all the way as soon as it hit the highs of 240 or so. It just became just a nasty, just drop. Look at these nasty candles. Then hits around 140 or so. Looks like to have found a bottom, and now we're gapping up quite a bit. I personally do not like to trade this stock. I don't like the way it trades. The ATR can be extremely high. Actually, what is it right now? It's at 11.74.
Only $11. Only $11.
Only $11. And we say that because we've seen this thing at around 20. Right around this area, we've seen it around $20. So again, it can be very, very nasty. So just be careful with this one. We'll put it on here because it definitely looks like it's in play today. It has some volume, and actually for the type of stock it is and the way it trades, it does have a nice pre-market activity. It's early, only 8:42 Eastern time, so hopefully that can continue to get better. Here we have KOS, KSS up 4.3. Remove some of these levels we have here. 431,000 shares traded. Nasty pre-market action. But when I look at KOS, I always see this nasty pre-market action. It's never clean when it comes to KOS. It is a nicey stock, so you're not going to get anything too exciting. But you can see here we definitely got some volume. We got some movement. Low of the pre-market as low as 45. We're hanging around the 50, so that's good. That's a nice little pop there. Any news on KOS, Norm? They're up quite a bit. Not exciting, but they're up a bit.
Yeah, well, they reported earnings last night, and they beat. And actually, I'm trying to remember who it was. They got hit. If you look at their daily last week on the 14th or 15th, there was another retail stock, and I for the life of me, I can't remember which one it was, but it came out with poor earnings, got hit. It went down as a sympathy play. So that's kind of they're popping up.
This you're talking about Macy's probably.
Yep, you're right. It was Macy's, and
I know this one.
I blanked out.
I know this one very well. It's just a quick story. One of my friends actually took this on a long here because they were expecting good earnings, and they woke up this morning, and I didn't hear from them for a couple of days. So I hope they're okay. I know they don't want to talk about it, but yeah, just be careful holding stuff to earning, guys. It's very, very dangerous.
They need to talk to Brian about swing trading around earnings.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I'm going to send them the link. Let's go over to CGC, guys. So here, 3.8, 214,000 shares traded. Let's see what we got here. So again, just kind of finding a bottom. Not a great pre-market activity. 214,000 shares traded so far. But again, right now it's just not anything too exciting. It seems to have a bottom around here on the previous day close, hanging around 26.72. But again, nothing too interesting on here. We'll come back to it. I don't see anything that I love on CGC at the moment. HD is next, so Home Depot, I believe this is. Yes, so Home Depot here is has actually a great pre-market activity, and I say that because Home Depot is another one of those stocks, just like KOS, that they don't have anything great. You're not gonna see this beautiful flow of candlesticks, in harmony and so forth. You're not gonna see that. You're gonna see something like this with some okay volume, right? And for nicey stocks and big stocks like this one, Home Depot, KOS, that's more than enough to put them on your list, right? So let's start over here. We have a great daily candle. Looks like we're heading up nicely here. Again, could be moving just with some sympathy from KOS, or unless we have any news on this, Norm, that's causing this.
No, it's actually, this one's a little bit perplexing, and I haven't figured out why it's popping like it is right now. So they reported earnings this morning. They beat their EPS. They missed on revenues and lowered guidance. So usually I would say that would put something down. Now they also mentioned tariff concerns, and I think most of their miss was because of deflationary lumber pressure. So I'm not quite sure why. I mean, if it was flat or something, I'd get it. But this is one of those head scratchers on Wall Street that you're like, all the news. I mean, as most of the news points to this should be down a little bit, but I haven't yet figured out quite why it's like this right
Yeah.
now.
All right. So again, I do like the pre-market activity in this type of stock. It is a higher price stock, over $200, but you can see here it's just kind of has a nasty daily here, but you can see clearly it's been finding a bottom around 202 and then getting above all these moving averages. So that could be interesting to watch. Here you got the 9, the 50, and the 20. It's just getting all above those and hitting very close to an area of prior resistance and support. So we'll see how that develops. Next we have TJ Maxx. So TJX is a down 3.5, 228,000 shares traded. I do love that we are losing some of these areas of support. Hopefully it doesn't drop down too fast without giving us a chance to take a piece of the action here, but it looks very very bearish this morning. So we'll see what's going on with this one. Again, down 3.5. Any news on TJX?
They reported earnings this morning, but I have not yet had a chance to dig into this one yet. So,
all right, cool. So again, also on the daily, I like the fact that we're hitting some of these prior areas of support on here. Price action sitting right at the support of this day here. We have another one possible we can hit down here. So we'll have to see how that develops. So I do love the daily. Actually, this is a very clean daily chart, guys. I like the way this is setting up. You have some very clean patterns forming here, so we'll see what we can get out of that. Now, looking at the actual pre-market activity, not all that great. You have this huge drop here. Hopefully, this can start creating some buzz here and get people to start trading this. So hopefully, this can get better. But again, this is also one of those nicey stocks that doesn't move very well pre-market. But I do love the way the daily is setting up, so hopefully we can get some movement out of that before we get into that 9:15 time frame. Here's IQ. So IQ had a nice pop yesterday. It was gapping up quite a bit. Let's just go back and see how that traded, because this is one that I took off my gappers list, off my main list. Wow, look at this squeeze. So right at the open, you had this squeeze from 1780. What's this to 1880? So $1 squeeze here on IQ. So if you were watching, I was able to catch it. That was fun. Got a nice pullback here, but possible entry for a long, and you can see it goes up and tests the high of the day. Then from there, it just becomes a beautiful drop.
Beautiful double top.
Oh yes, beautiful double top, beautiful drop. Once it loses the VWAP, even more confirmation. Again, you don't want to get in here because you don't want to find the top on things, like you don't want to find the bottom. You want to wait for confirmation. You clearly see you got some resistance right on here. Well, once you start seeing that it cannot get any higher, this is where your entry could be, around this area, and then a nice confirmation once it loses this VWAP. Look at this beautiful drop, and then from there just catches the 9 and then another drop. So again, IQ traded pretty well yesterday, given the fact that it's one of the stocks doesn't trade as clean. This morning, what do we have on it? So this morning, going to the daily, wow, this daily chart is nasty though, I gotta say. Right in here, guys, this is not clean at all. I mean, look at the candlesticks. Just you're gapping up and down several days, and again, just nothing exciting, no flow to it. It was trading better before in the past. See, from here to here, this is nice. You got a nice pop, you got some flow on here, but then here it's just nasty. But now we are down below where we almost seem to have found some kind of support in the last couple of days when it was doing this nasty dance here. You can see it was supporting it, but now we're losing it a bit. So that could be interesting. If we can lose that, we probably got some levels down here we'll get into when we do our support and resistance. The actual activity on the 5 is horrible, guys, not clean, but it does have some volume, so definitely worth taking a look at it. I mean, we popped up yesterday. I don't recall what was the news on it, and now we're down 8.2. I mean, it's just insane.
They reported earnings last night, and they were underwhelming results.
Wow, it's just so interesting how before earnings you have this, right? This kind of pop here, and then you report earnings and you completely drop. You know, it's just insane. So that's IQ for us. We'll look at it in more detail on support and resistance. SE, what we have going on here. This one has not the best daily chart, but we do have some activity. 1.5 million shares traded so far. 13% down this morning. Norm, we have some news on this one?
Yes, I believe they reported this morning. This company is, I don't know. It's always been very strange to me. It seems a little shady or something. It's got a 24% short float. They reported earnings this morning. I have not yet had a chance to dig into it, but there's always been something weird about this stock to me. And there's usually not a continuous news flow that I find on it. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. And you can see here, guys, again, the daily not looking all that great, but we have a beautiful drop here. I mean, we're going from 38.50 high of the pre-market all the way down to 30 bucks. So that's a nice big drop there. Interesting to see how the pre-market is going to develop. The daily chart doesn't look great, but the pre-market on the 5 does look a little interesting. You have a nice drop here. You kind of hanging around these moving averages now. We can head back towards the low of the pre-market. So that could be somewhat exciting. And you can see here also on the daily, we do have some areas of support and resistance that we're testing. So let's keep SE on here. What's the float on SE, by the way? Float on this one is 189 million. So that's good.
Yeah, it's not a low float.
Yeah, this is one that we can actually trade. But again, guys, don't be fooled. That's a big drop. 38 to 30 bucks. That's almost $8 there. SRPT down 17%. Ouch. 577,000 shares traded with a nasty pre-market activity, not doing much, pretty flat, although we have all this volume. And looking at the daily, if you look at the daily closely, there's not a lot of great days on here. Very choppy, looks like, with some nasty candles, a lot of indecision candles back to back. So again, doesn't have a nice flow to it, but we're down huge on this 17%. Lost an area that was for resistance support for a very long time, looks like, before we had this pop. So we're losing a lot of technical stuff here. It looks like this is the one that's kind of holding it a bit now. What's the news on SRPT? What kind of stock is this, by the way? This is a
it's a pharma company. They had a drug rejected by the FDA for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, so that's hit it.
Okay. All right, so then we'll see how this develops. Right now, pre-market is just not looking all that great, guys. The ATR, what's the ATR? This looks scary. Yeah, $7 ATR. So another one you want to be very careful with. You know,
it's a bit of a crazy stock. Those look like tiny candles, but look at the price between each candle.
Yeah, no.
Look over to the side on your one daily chart.
Yeah. I mean, just look at this, guys. Look at just on this one candle here. Yeah, it looks good in decision, very small, but we're going from 101.50 to 99. So again, that's a big drop on a one small candle like that. So you want to be very careful. ATR is $7. So this is definitely nothing to play around with. All right, so this is what we have. What do we have on Nasdaq Active, Nasdaq Gainers? TNXP, we know it's a penny stock. I think NBRV is also the same situation. Look at this nastiness, not really tradable. TRNX is the same. SRPT we have. GHSI also the same. TVIX, Nasdaq, Volatility Index. NAKD, same penny. Nasdaq ETF. SLS, we know it's a penny stock. IQ we have. I'm going to look at AMD just because it's right here at number 11. So let's look at AMD on what we have going on. So AMD's got some volume, 368,000 shares. Not as much as we've seen over the last couple of days. Around this time, we already had, 800,000 shares, 900. So today a little bit on the slower side. Daily has become really nasty on AMD. I mean, it's just, I know we had the market, driving it crazy. A lot of stocks during this time were gapping up, gapping down on every single news that came out. So that kind of messed up a lot of the nice daily charts we had. Not sure what to think about AMD. Didn't have a really great day yesterday, and today looks like might be dropping down. Hopefully test that 30. But again, I don't see anything exciting besides the 5 minute looks very active, but on the daily it just looks so crappy, really. All right, let's look at what do you have, Norm? What do you like this morning?
Nvidia, as we all know, and you discussed earlier when you were reviewing yesterday's stocks in play, had a huge day yesterday. This morning, it's gotten up into the low 170s. It's been holding 170, so I'll have my eye on that one for sure. Apple also had a massive day yesterday, popped up, sitting at 211 right now. I'll have my eye on that, see if it gives any back or if it continues. Roku had a nice pop yesterday. I'm not quite as excited about that one. It's kind of in between support and resistance, support being in the high 120s from the last few days in this consolidation pattern, and resistance being up around the 140-ish area. So that's what I've got. I think we've got enough on the list here that I really like some of this stuff. Kohl's, Home Depot, potentially IQ has been in my garbage pail of stocks for quite some time, but I think it's been 8-9 months since I've traded it. There's been a substantial increase in the float, so it's a little bit cleaner, like we discussed. So
yeah,
it's kind of what I've got on my list.
All right, excellent. Yeah, I definitely do. Out of all of those, I definitely also, again, like NVIDIA. It's just a beautiful day yesterday. We could possibly get a continuation today. Doesn't have great volume right now, but NVIDIA is going to get the volume. It's just like AMD and MU. The volume is going to come, and it looks like we could possibly get a nice continuation out of this. All right, guys, what do you guys have that you like this morning that is not already on this list? Whatever is on this list, we're going to go over in more details. BYND got upgraded. All right, nice. Yeah, we'll look at BYND in more details. We have that one. So we have Teva. Let's see what we got on Teva here. I like Teva. I used to like Teva a lot when it was a higher price. But lately, unless you have some really great news, it doesn't move a lot. It's very difficult to trade. You can sit in a trade for hours before you actually get, 15, 10, 20 cents out of it. And I can't sit that long on a trade. But look here. It looks like it's trying to bounce back. I do see what you're looking at. It's got some volume, 195, just over 2%. So it should be coming up in our gappers list any minute here, depending how the ATR is. What's the ATR? The ATR's got to be, it's right at 50 cents. It was a lot lower when it wasn't moving much. So it's right at 50 cents. It should come up on this list. Yeah, Teva could be a possible, guys. For me personally, I'm not going to watch it. I just don't like the high moves. Again, it could be very difficult to trade. But definitely Teva should be possible. We'll throw it down here as a possible one for today, and we'll find some levels. It looks like some levels that we have prior are still in place. So this 888 is good, 847 is good, 786 is good. So we'll get into details on those levels, see what else we need to add. But we do have some nice daily levels already on this. So Baidu, we have Disney yesterday. Andrew traded this one yesterday. If you missed his recap, after he landed, he got on. He did a recap on this one, so definitely check that out. And look how he found this stock too, using our turbo breakdown and turbo breakup scanner. So check that out. So Disney, again, just a nice nice daily here. It looks like it wants to head back down and test these levels. Not a lot of volume right now, only 49,000 shares traded. And this is why when you have a stock like this that might be put in a good play, this is why you want to trust your turbo breakup and breakup scanners, breakdown and breakup. So this way, if this pops up on there, you can definitely take a look at it. But right now, as to have it on your main list, I don't see anything too exciting at the moment. LAN, let's look at this one here. Let's remove these levels. Looks like we have traded in the past.
So Disney is a little bit interesting based on the news. So I guess there was a whistleblower that came out just after the close yesterday, I think it was, and mentioned that they were kind of fudging numbers on some things. I believe the person, from what I recall, worked in their theme park division. So, Disney's been on a tear recently ever since they announced their streaming platform that's going to launch. I believe it's November 8th or 9th of this year. You can see that massive gap up there in April's when that was announced. It's just been on a tear. After, frankly, and this was the business I was in, the television business, say on ABC, I'm kind of familiar with it. They were just kind of in a sideways move for years before this breakout. So it'll be interesting if this news has any kind of impact on the stock.
Yeah, no, that will be that will be definitely crazy. See how that develops. I guess they're doing magic in their shows and magic in their numbers. Bottom line. So
something like that. Yeah,
we'll see. All right, so Disney will throw it on Disney on here. That could be a good potential. So it might not have the. I'm surprised with that type of news doesn't have great volume right now. But again, with that news, we should definitely keep an eye on this one. All right, guys. So we have quite a bit here. Coming up on 9 a.m. Eastern time. Let's go over some announcements, and then we'll come back, find some support and resistance on this stuff, and then see what we can remove and or keep or make changes to. Go ahead, Norm.
Yeah, guys. So first, our long-awaited interview with Dr. Brett Steenbarger has been posted on YouTube. It was posted last week. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It is. It's an hour long, but it is a fantastic watch. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's an hour. Really good, insightful information in that. So check it out. It's on YouTube. Our next Lifetime webinar will be held August 22nd at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then the Benzinga, we were honored, Bear Bull Traders was honored to be nominated for the Best Financial Literacy Tool at Benzinga FinTech Awards. There is a link Abiel can post. He's posted the alerts up above. You can post on YouTube as well. If you can vote one time per device per day, we sincerely appreciate your vote if you enjoy the content and everything else that we put out there for you guys. Meetups. We're going to have a San Francisco meetup on September 7th. Check the forums for that. William's going to be doing his trade review this afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern. He's going to, it'll be streamed on YouTube as well as in the room. If you are a member, do it in the room. It's just better experience. You can put up your trades in there. There's a forum post to be able to put it on. There's a forum post for people on YouTube to be able to post a trade, because he might take a trade or two from you guys. And for y'all that are have been around a little while, know that we did a couple of DAS Trader competitions in the spring. We'll probably do one later on in the fall. Come back to that. But DAS is doing their next challenge. You can go to onebesttrader.com. That's the number one, besttrader.com. And it runs from September 3rd to the 30th. So it's the month of September. You can get, it's $75, but with the promo code BBTFall15, BBTFall15, you can save $15 off the registration. So currently, I believe the registration price, the early bird is $75. You can get it for $60. And I think you get, and don't hold me to this because I'm trying to double check, but I read everything yesterday. I believe you start trading in Simulator immediately, training for the challenge before the 3rd. So it's actually a heck of a deal to try to get the DAS Trader for a little while if you haven't already signed up for it for a little bit of time. So then last but not least, Trade Ideas, few times a year, does a pretty decent sale. You get 25% off of their subscriptions. It usually, I don't have the details on this one either, but it's usually, if you go monthly, you get 25% off the first month. Or if you do annual, you get 25% off the year. This is for both their standard and their premium subscriptions. There's a discount code for it, but Abiel will post the link, or Carlos can, and that'll take you directly to the page to be able to check out. Anthony in the room is asking if the challenge is open to all or just U.S. residents. Anthony, it is open to everyone. As long as you can get a computer connection and hooked up to DAS and all that, it's for everyone. And then just a couple of housekeeping items. If you're watching the pre-market show on YouTube and you have not checked out the room and you would like to come in and trade live with us all day, you can use the promo code PREMARKET24. There's no spaces or anything. Pre-market, the number is 24, and get a discount for a 1-week trial that does not auto-renew. And also in the room, especially once we get closer to the open, please post anything not directly trading related in the off topic. Be questions about brokers, commissions, platforms, technical issues, anything like that, post in the off topic. We really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Excellent, guys. All right, so let's get into it, guys. We got quite a bit here. Let's start with the top. So HGV here. So HGV, again, a possible buyout, but it can be tradable. I'm just gonna put some levels here just in case it hits any of our scanners. I can tune into it and have my stuff ready to go. So at the top, I have 32.10. Towards the bottom, low of the pre-market, we have 30.75. So 30.75. Here we go. So those are your highs and lows of the pre-market right now. Above this, you got a very nice clean level all the way up here at 32.60, and then one over here at 33.35. So plenty of levels towards the top. Towards the bottom, you got two moving averages right on here around 30. So I'm going to mark down 30 because you got those two moving averages on there as well. So I will mark down 30. It's a good one to have. And then all the way down here, we have another pop on this beautiful gap down that we had. So I'm going to mark that one 28.90. From 30 to 28.90, that's a big drop. I don't expect that to happen. So I would like to have something in the middle. I'm going to look in this area here and see well we could find a good support and resistance. It looks like this one might be it here, 29.38. You have several days supporting and support and resistance on that. So not the best level there, but I do need to have something in between there because that's a big drop. I don't expect it to go from 30 to 28.90 without having some kind of resistance or momentum loss. So that's HGV. Not one of my favorite ones this morning. Might not make the cut. I might remove this one depending how the rest go. Baidu is definitely one I want to watch. Look at this pre-market activity is getting a lot better. So when we looked at this earlier, we didn't have this nice up and down here. I like the way that's setting up. Beautiful support here. Low of the pre-market sitting at 113 exactly. So let's mark that down. And then towards the top, high of the pre-market sitting at 115.33. So we'll also mark that as well. Right on here. And then above that we have this 1660. We had that from before. That's still a good level because you can see here that you have an area of resistance on a couple of days ago. We tried to get above that, couldn't. So that's 1660, 11660 I'm going to keep. Low of the pre-market 113, price action on it right now. Let's see if it's going to crack or it's going to hold. Below this one you have, I like this level here, 110.80, 82. That's too big. Right here. So 110.82, we have a support on this day here, but we also have this moving average right on there, 110.82. So I like that being supported by the daily and also by the moving average. And then towards the bottom, if we lose that, we have another area right around here, around 108.80. So I'm going to keep that down. So we got some good levels towards the top and the bottom. Again, this 113 looks like it's not going to hold very long. We'll see what it does in a few minutes. So BYND, guys, this one again, it's just a little bit crazy. It does have a nice support here that it couldn't crack over the last 3 days. So you have 1, 2, 3, almost 3 days testing this area. All right, and it's funny, they all break the previous day close, sitting at 144. Right, you can see that here, 144.51. The minute they went below it, they came right back up and closed around that same 144.51. So again, that's a good indication that the stock does not want to stay below this. And then today we're gapping up quite a bit, 6.3 towards the top. So towards the bottom, you have your low of the pre-market, which is right at the high of the last 2 trading days. I mean, that one line is posted right there on the exact number. High of the pre-market sitting at 157.17. You can also see how that was support a couple of days back. The next level we possibly have is 164.48. So you got the top of this day here, 164.11 to be exact. That's a nice one there. And then above that, and I'm going to mark one more because this stock can really move. This thing, if it gets going, it can hit these levels like it was nothing. So 172.75 could be another possible area of resistance as well. Be on the lookout for these 2 levels on here around 165. You have 2 moving averages coming in, so be on the lookout for that. But definitely 172, you can see how it's clearly been tested twice a couple of days back. So that's what we have on BYND. I'm personally not going to keep this stock. I think it trades very erratic, very whippy. And again, and the ATR, guys, if you are going to trade this, be very careful. It's over here at $11.74. So be very careful on your number of shares you take and your sizing, and make sure you manage your risk correctly. Here we have Kohl's. So Kohl's kind of came back down, was trying to pop up a little, was actually gapping up around 2% or more. It backed down towards the previous day close at the moment, kind of doing an indecision candle on the pre-market activity. So high of the pre-market sitting at 51.68. Your low is already next to the low from yesterday and the high from 2 days ago, right? So here and here, don't need to mark that again. Towards the top, you have an area here. Hold on. Here we go. So you have an area of consolidation. Here becomes very difficult to find a daily level. This is why when you see this nasty daily charts, it's not easy to find a great support and resistance. So I'm going to go back a bit, and I'm going to look at some clear areas where you saw some clear change in direction. So right here, 50.18, you can clearly see it comes up, finds resistance, heads back down, comes back up, tests one more time, and then is finally able to break out of it. So 50.18 is a good one to have. Towards the top, you have this spike over here at 52.48. I'm going to mark that down. And then all the way up here, 53.96 is a good one. Towards the bottom, we have your previous day close. You have the high from yesterday, and then you have your previous day low and high from 2 days ago. But between 48 and 46, we need something on there because that's just a big drop. I don't expect that to happen without some kind of struggle. We do have 47.18 right on here. This is a good one. You can see how we do it, kind of a double bottom right on here before we take off. So that's nice, right at 47.18. And if you go back, you can also see how you have some levels of resistance, and then you have support as well, several times hitting that 47.18, bouncing up before they actually loses it, and then again comes back up to it, and then you test it twice, and then you go. How many times we've seen that, guys? Right? We break through resistance, we come back and test it, and then we this here we test it twice, and then you get the move. So that 47.18 could be a very nice level to have. So Kohl's right now looks like it wants to go green to red. So here's green and here's red. So usually what that means, that type of saying, is that when the stock drops from being green down over to red, that's a green to red move, and vice versa. So when you hear us say that, that's what we're talking about. So right now holding here, let's see what it does in a couple of minutes. CGC, it has an okay pre-market activity, and again we have a nice previous day close plus the low from yesterday as well, right on here as towards the bottom as good support. Towards the top you have the highs from yesterday and the day before, as well as the pre-market highs right on that area. I'm going to mark down this level up here, 29.63, and another one all the way up here at 30, right, 30.85. You can see how we tested that twice. Towards the bottom, if we lose this previous day close, let's go back. Okay, here we go. We have around December, beginning of the year. The next one will be 25.28. So I'm going to mark that down. Look how the previous day closed. This previous day close here is from yesterday. Look how that was support a couple of months back, right? So you can see how these levels are being looked at. You can clearly see that that's not a coincidence. You clearly have some support on that area. So CGC is okay, guys. Not my favorite for today, but we'll see. We'll keep it on here. We'll see how this pre-market develops. It does look like it wants to bounce here, like it wants to head higher. But again, the pre-market activity is not all that great. We do have some nice volume on it, 251. But not a great pre-market activity. Home Depot, I do like this morning, guys. HD is looking very nice. It has a nice little pop here with a lot of support towards the bottom. So let's start with the bottom. We have your previous day close. You have your high from 2 days ago. Tons of three moving averages in here. So you don't really need to add anymore. I'm just going to add probably the low of the pre-market. Besides that, if you look at this thing is stacked with all kinds of support and resistance. So don't add anymore. Don't get crazy here. I think that's more than enough for us to have. Towards the top, the price action is sitting right at a level which I'm going to mark because I like the way this level is at 211.59. If you look at 211.59, you can see here you have support, you have 2 days of resistance, another day coming back after dropping and testing that 211.59. So I think that's a good one to have. Then above that, you have your high of your pre-market at 213.75. So let's mark that down. And if we can break out at 213.78, which you can see here, it looks very nice in a lot of areas, has resistance. The next one could possibly be this one all the way up here. I don't think, yeah, that's a stretch, 217.55. I'm trying to find something in here. Yeah, I like this one here actually, 215.69. You can see 2 days on here kind of testing that as support and resistance. Again, the best level is at 217.55. That is very clean. You can see the change in direction, but that's a big stretch from 213 all the way to 217. That's a nice run. You might not get that today, so you want to have a midpoint area where you want to be able to calculate your risk to reward and have a target to shoot for profit wise. So that's HD. I like HD this morning. Good volume so far, up 2.2. So that could be exciting. TJ Maxx, I don't like the pre-market action, guys, on TJX, but I can see here that the daily looks interesting. I like the way he's losing some of this support here. Low of the pre-market sitting at 49.33. The price action right now is sitting right at its support. I'm not going to mark because I don't want to get this chart too congested, but the price is sitting right on this possible area of support as well. It looks like it lost it. It went down to 49.32, and then you have another one right on here all the way in the bottom at 49.07. If we lose that, let's go back to February right in here. So if we lose at 49.07, this doesn't, not the greatest, but here's a very good one actually, 48.28. All right, you can clearly see, guys, how that 48.28 has been holding very strong during this consolidation period, right? So here actually we break out of this 48.28. We just bounce around, you know, just here until we finally are able to break out of this range. So that's a good one to have. I am going to, you know what, I'm actually going to mark this area here, 49. Yeah, this one here, 49.70. What's that? 49.80. Yeah, 49.80 or so. Here's the reason why. I like the way, when I went back over here, I like how that level right where the price action is. You do have some areas of possible support as well. I know the price is right on it, but if the price moves up or down, you want to have this on your chart. So that is TJX. I do like TJX daily. I think the daily looks very nice. I do like the volume. Do not like the way the pre-market action is forming here. This doesn't look great, but hopefully we can get something out of this. Here's IQ, guys. So IQ is just kind of chopping around, but the volume is great. 706,000 shares traded. Low of the pre-market sitting at 1630. Above that, have your pre-market sitting at around 17. You do have an area right here from the low of the last trading day right on there. So that's in the midpoint between your high and lows and between your price action. Towards the top, guys, plenty of levels. Just look at this area here. You have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, moving averages, previous day close, and so again, just plenty of stuff towards the top. Don't really need to add anymore. Now, if we lose this 1630 low of our pre-market, we haven't been down here since last year in December when we had this massive drop in a lot of the stocks. So we have a one level right here at 1535, very clean, you can tell, and then all the way down here around 1439. I don't think we'll get there, but these are the 2 clean levels based on this daily section here. So that's what we have on IQ. Go ahead.
I was considering IQ on my own, but if you look at the 1 minute chart, the candle at 8:57 brings back memories of IQ of the past. This 40-cent candle on a $16 stock is a little crazy, out of the blue, a little crazy.
This was IQ 24/7, man. It definitely has come down a lot, but it's one of those stocks you just got to be very careful with. So here we have SE. SE is just a nasty daily, guys. Also, not the cleanest pre-market activity. It does have 1.7 million shares traded. It is down 12%. This drop, high of your pre-market, just to show you how big this drop is 38.50, and the low is at 30.50. That's almost an $8 move there. So you want to be very careful. That's your high and low. In between here, we definitely have some levels starting from the top down. You have your previous highs and lows. Right in this area here around 37.35. You have some moving averages. You have your previous day close, but I'm going to mark down this one here as well, 32.66. You want to have that down as well. You can see clearly that's an area of support. If we lose this 30.48, going back over here, you can see a nice little area right here around 29.53. Again, guys, this stock moves quite a bit. ATR is very high. Be very, very careful. SRPT, this is another one that has a beautiful drop of 17. Again, daily chart doesn't look all that exciting. I'm just going to put some levels on here. I might not keep it, but I'm going to put some levels on here just to be prepared. So low of the pre-market 96.43, high of the pre-market 104.89. Towards the top, look at this area of consolidation. Just going to mark this down here. You can see right there 112.36. And then just want to get one more towards the bottom. Look at this one, guys, 96.43, which is the pre-market low right now. Look how exactly how that was tested back in December. So it kind of gives you more confirmation that that level is something that people are looking at. Just want to get one more towards the bottom, and then we'll call this one a day off. See, this is nasty daily here, though. This is not clean. So you know what? I'm going to hold off on this one for now. All right, and then the last one, guys, we'll look at NVIDIA. And then Andrew will be ready to come on, and he's going to go through his watch list. And then I'm going to finalize this list as we get closer to 9:30. Running a little bit out of time here. So we have a level here 174.04. Another at the top at 178 on NVIDIA. Again, NVIDIA put in a great day yesterday, so Norm and I will definitely be looking for a good move out of this continuation and possible sell down 167.24, another level as well. Then towards the bottom, you got plenty, guys. Highs and lows, moving averages, just a ton of stuff right in here for support. Don't really need to add any more in between there. All right, guys, so this is not our final list, but I am going to continue to dissect this and make it smaller. Thank you guys on YouTube for joining us. We will continue in the room to finalize our list, and I hope you guys have a great day. See you guys tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Trade safe. Take care. Thanks.